holding top edge of the plate. The Hudson H9. So this is a striker-fired 1911 style pistol with kind of a unique recoil spring system in front to reduce the muzzle rise and felt recoil impulse. So it comes in an attractive looking box, and it should for what this pistol costs. Here's the pistol. Inside the box, take your top foam out, 2 additional magazines for a total of 3 that come with this gun, and it's just an elegant packaging that they've come up with. And I want to say a special thank you to Big Mike for loaning me this gun for the testing. Really appreciate it. It's an expensive piece to hand out to somebody to test, so I appreciate that. So when I was looking at this pistol, a friend borrowed it to me to review. I had a couple things that I was hoping this gun would do. One of them was that it would just be a reliable system with double stacked magazines that would have the ergonomics of a 1911. And it absolutely has been that. You'll see in some of the testing I have done things trying to get this gun to malfunction, and I have been completely unsuccessful. This gun has been 100% reliable throughout all of my testing. It has never malfunctioned. It has never failed to lock back when empty. It has never failed to go into battery. It has always functioned 100%, and I think I'm at about 500 rounds since I got my hands on it, and probably at least a few hundred before he turned it over to me for testing. The gun has a 1911 style feel to it, so when you hold the gun in the hand, it feels very good. It feels very 1911. One of the things about the pistol that I've seen people talk about is the way the trigger safety is set up here. The pivot point for the trigger safety is on the bottom, whereas most other pistols, the trigger safety pivot point is at the top, or else it's a 2-piece trigger with a hinge in the middle. I've heard some complaints about this, and I would say that it doesn't function better than a pivot point at the top, but it also doesn't function worse. It's about the same, give or take. Once I got used to it, I didn't really notice it at all. Now, the trigger on this gun is good. I would say they could have done a better job. You touch the trigger, you take up that trigger safety, and as you press, I would say this trigger breaks at 4.5 pounds if I was going to estimate it. It breaks fairly smoothly, fairly crisp, and it has a short reset. So if you watch the reset and then another shot, it's a very short take up, very short reset, and you can feel it and you can hear the reset when you're letting the trigger out. This gun is set up to be ambidextrous, so we have a slide release on the left and right sides of the pistol. That functions very well from either side. The magazine release, from the look of it, can be very easily switched from left to right. One of the unique things about this pistol is how they set the recoil spring so low up front. So you have this big forend on the pistol, and there's not much there. Like, it looks like it could incorporate a light or some kind of suppression almost, but really it's just the recoil system. They sat it low so that it would feel like it shoots flatter. I would say that system works. This gun shoots very, very flat. The recoil impulse is very minimal. I think this would make an excellent pistol for anyone who's struggling to handle the recoil. So if you have a smaller statured shooter, even a younger shooter, like a early teenage or female with small hands, weak arms, this would make an excellent choice for them. And one of the reasons I would say that is that you don't have to worry about limp wristing. So if it's a person who has a hard time managing recoil, a hard time getting behind the gun and keeping a solid stance behind it, this gun's not going to malfunction on them if they limp wrist while they're shooting. And if they do limp wrist, the muzzle rise is going to be much less than that of most other guns. One of the things that I really like about what Hudson did, and this is some of the elegance you get with a gun that costs what this gun costs, is how easy it is to take their magazines apart. And so if you're not aware, you are supposed to take your magazines apart to clean them from time to time. Not every time you clean the gun, but once in a while. So taking this magazine apart, it's just like a PMag. And Glock, if you're watching this, it's time. Like, your next magazine, you want to make a Gen 6, make better magazines. You press in this button here, slide that forward, and the base plate comes right off, just like a PMag. It's almost like pressing a button, goes back together just as easily, snaps back into place. These are awesome for the simplicity of taking them apart to clean them out. If there's one thing that I would ask Glock to do, is to copy those magazines, because I am sick of jamming something into this button and trying to force the base plate off the front. Now, in preparing to do this review, I did watch some other people's reviews, and I have some things I disagree with. One of them being the practicality of attaching a light to this gun. First of all, I don't know that you're going to find a holster that's going to fit this. It's going to be monstrous. But secondly, is they said that after they used it, it worked very well. And the issue I have is with your grip, you would activate your light with this thumb here. Well, the button is further than I can reach. So I have to sacrifice my grip to hit this button and activate my light. I don't think that it's very practical to run a light with this gun. That being said, you could run this gun very easily with a handheld light, because to shoot it one-handed with the decreased felt recoil and less muzzle rise would make that an easier task. Now, if I'm going to complain about this gun, my main complaint is going to be the sights. So this is running a Trigicon HD. They're not bad sights. They do kind of exactly what they're meant to do, I suppose. They're just not what I'm used to. So with these sights, you cover the area you want the bullet to impact with that orange dot. So to the way I would typically use sights, this gun shoots low. The gun doesn't actually shoot low, it's just I'm looking at the sights in a way other than they were intended. So what I found is that up close, so even out, and for me up close is out to 25 yards, once I got a knack for how these sights worked, I was able to connect very, very consistently out to 25 yards. Where I struggled was when I got back to 50 yards, and you can see that in the footage at the end of this video. I had a hell of a time consistently connecting at 50 yards. And for me, with a Glock, maybe my Glock 19, Glock 17, Glock 22, a 50-yard shot on a good day, if I'm taking my time, it's nothing for me to shoot 80-90% at that distance on a BC steel plate. With this gun, I was not able to do that. The other unfortunate thing is I couldn't really test the accuracy at those distances, because with the way the sights are set up is your front sight post is covering and making your target disappear. And at that distance, your front sight post is larger than your target. So you're kind of just covering the target and gaming it. So I don't know if some of my inability to connect at that distance is just the sights. I can't say for certain how well this stabilizes the bullet at distances. So if you were going to try to take this gun back to 100 yards, I think it would be very difficult to hit a BC steel plate with these sights. If it had a more Glock style or a more precision sight on it, that might not be an issue, but I'm not sure how well this barrel is stabilizing the round at that distance. And what's unfortunate about that is that was one of the main things I wanted out of this gun. Is I was thinking, okay, 1911 ergonomics, a really sweet trigger. I'm looking for a pistol that makes it easier to connect at 100 yards. I'll shoot my Glocks out to 100. I'll shoot them out to 200 at times. Not with a high hit rate, obviously, but I can connect fairly consistently at 100 yards with my Glock pistols on a BC steel plate. I was hoping that this gun would be something that would make those kind of shots, that it would have the elegance of the 1911, and with that would come more precision, or it wouldn't be as hard to be precise at those distances because of the trigger being a bit nicer, and just when you think of a 1911, you think of being able to shoot those tight groups, and that was not what I found with this pistol. However, I think the pistol's main intention is to be a very reliable up-close combat style pistol, and it does do that very well. Like I said, 100% reliability. Very easy to acquire sight picture, so when you're within those distances, say inside of 20 yards, which most self-defense shootings are going to be well within 20 to 25 yards, this gun performs very, very well. It's very fast, it's very flat shooting, the ergonomics feel great, and it has been very reliable. My overall impression of this gun is that it's very reliable. It's more than accurate enough up close, inside of 25 yards. I might prefer a different sight system than what this pistol comes with, but for what it was intended, it does work the way it was meant to. And one of the things I can say is that it felt great in the hand. After shooting this for a while is the first time that I ever picked up a Glock and understood what somebody saw when they said it feels like a piece of Tupperware in this hand. The weight of the gun, just the way it feels in your hand, it feels like the Cadillac, whereas the Glock feels kind of like the Chevy. If you have any questions about things I did with the gun, stick those in the comments. Please remember to subscribe, hit that like button if you like this video, and if you want to support what I'm doing, feel free to check out some of the links in the description. You can buy things through my Amazon affiliate links. And if you're looking for some firearms training, check out our website, www.midwesttroubleshooters.com. Thanks for watching. Yards. $50.